Welcome to another session from LearnReason.com. My name's Matt, and this is part 6 in our Learn How to Mix video series. In our last video, we went over the getting our kick sound and our bass synth sound, and we're just going through each instrument right now, trying to get each instrument, having its own definitive sound, where it sits in the stereo field. We're just getting everything in the ballpark. And today I'm going to work on the snare and the toms. But first, I want to put a limiter on our main bus here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here. I'm going to see this little button here. I'm going to click rack, and it takes me right to the master section. And you can see I put in a maximizer. Just put it right in there, and all I did was put the 4 millisecond look ahead, and everything else is default. I just want to make sure that I don't have to worry about peaking and going over as we're going forward. And you should always have a limiter as the last thing in the signal chain. So what I did here is I took all the toms, selected them all, and I made a bus for them so I can control the level. Just listen for the toms. I'm going to put them really up high, but first I'm gonna mute them, and then I'm gonna bring them in, and I want you to hear how they accent the bass synth. I like it. That was without the toms. Now I'm going to play it with the toms, and I want you to listen how the toms hit right with the bass synthesizer. You can see them right here. Check it out. So I really like that. I think that was a good idea to put those in there like that. Tip my hat to Theodard. Good job. I like it. So I have them on their own bus here, and I can control the volume. And going forward, we might do some EQing on them and definitely some panning. But we're just getting our sounds in the ballpark right now. A lot of sounds happening in this song, so we're just methodically going through each one. So now I want to work on the snare, and when you're listening to the snare, I think there's too much bottom end in it. So let's take a listen to the snare, and let's just go right up into the EQ, and here's the snare top and the snare bottom, and let's just look at it, and I hear a lot of bottom end in the snare. So let's check it out. That's the snare top, and you can see it's going below 160 hertz. There really is. I don't think there's a reason for the snare to be going down that low. And let's listen to the snare bottom. Okay, when you're listening to, the snare bottom and the snare top, there's a prevalent sound right in this area here. And what I'm going to do is, let's go to the snare top and let's just listen to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up in the EQ so you can hear it, really hear it. It's I just think it's too low of a sound for the snare. So what I want to do here is I want to get rid of some of that and try and bring up some of the mid frequencies. I think that will help the snare sound a heck of a lot better in the mix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both the snare, top and bottom, and I'm going to route it to a new bus. It's one thing great about this mixer. You can just bus everything and move everything around so easy. I'm going to keep them all the same color. I'm going to call this the Snare Bus. Okay. So now I can control the overall level. So let's go in and try and sculpt out the sound a bit. Let's just take some of the high pass on there. Just cut some of that out. So I just went into the EQ and I used a high pass filter to just take out all the unwanted low end of the snare. And then I took out a little around 283, you can see right down here. And then I took out a little more around 995 hertz. And let's just listen to it without it, you know, before and after. It's got more definition, and we can tweak it a little bit more. Okay, so I think we have the top snare sounding pretty good. Let's listen to the bottom snare. You know, I mean, listen to it and look at it in the EQ here. now we can just dial in, you know, the two to meld the sound together, you know. And I'm liking that. The snare is it's got a little more bite to it. It's got kind of that wet sound. That's what I call it. You know, it's like splatting in water. But let's give it a little reverb. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and add in. Oh, sorry. You double right click in here, and you can create a send effect. I have a specific reverb I really like, so I'm going to try it. Let's go right in here, and it's the all first plate. It's a plate reverb, and I like them plate reverbs on drums. So what I'm just going to go to the snare bus here, and let's just put the reverb on the snare. I'm liking that. The snare's sitting better in the mix. It's got a heck of a lot more definition. It's not competing in the low end, and I think it's sounding pretty good. We can still tweak it more as we go through. And next, I think what we'll do is work on our huge pads here. I'm really liking this pad sound, and you know, we've got the bass synth and the drums are all we've worked on, and this whole synth here, the huge pad and the below C, and they're all riding right on top of the bass, synth, and the drums. That's all we've been working on so far. But I mean, there's a lot going on. This pad sound is magnificent. Check it out. I think it's sounding pretty good so far. Again, all we're doing is sculpting each sound, trying to get it defined. It's not the end result yet. We're just getting everything in the ballpark. We haven't done any panning or anything, and we're going to finish going through all the rest of these sounds, each track, and moving forward, we'll move into the pads, the Rhodes, the piano, and just keep going forward with this. I'm liking the way it's sounding, and I hope that as we're going through, you're going to notice that you just go into each instrument, each track. You know, you listen to it, you see how it sits in the mix in relation to everything else, and you sculpt it out using the EQ, and we might have to use some compression, but that's all we've been using really. Here we put in a little reverb for the snare to give it a little air. That's it. You know, it's not the end result right here, but it's just helping me get a mental picture of the whole stereo field. So in our next video, we'll work on, see if we're going to do anything to the pads here, and move, you know, the piano, the Rhodes and stuff, and we're just going to move forward with this. So I hope this is helping you out, and please subscribe. I got videos coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do my best to do it, and be social on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, Twitter, and the Learn Reason site. I'm always looking and doing my best to answer all the questions. I'm on all these sites answering questions at least a couple times a day. And so subscribe and be social. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, everybody.